It's Sunday night, and this is the Conjugal Visit on KGFRocks.com.
Yeah, it's the Conjugal Visit here on KGFRocks.com through Spreaker. Welcome to the show, everyone. Got a big show tonight. I want to welcome my guest host, Mr. Guido, the King Guido.
I'm not your fucking guest host. I'm your co-host.
You are? That's what I said. Didn't I say co-host?
No,
my
co-host.
Guest host. Well, okay, my co-host. Does that make you feel better? King Guido. And with us tonight, who decided to just, out of nowhere, I don't know what the deal was, Mr. Chaz Stanley is with us tonight. Chaz, welcome to the show,
out of
man.
nowhere.
Welcome back. Fuck me. It's been,
I needed to know I won't fuck you.
What was the last fucking show you fucking did?
I can tell you right now because I'm home. That's why I'm on. The last show I did was for all the wrestling fans out there when Jinder Mahal won the championship because I announced that on the air. So what was that, like 2 months ago?
2 months ago. It's been a while. A while. Well, we've missed you. Welcome aboard. We always welcome our third guest host. He'll be a guest host. We'll call him a guest host, right? Okay.
That's fine. Special attraction.
Right. Special attraction. So, I understand there were some concerts in Buffalo this week. 2 of them, as a matter of fact. Two big headliner shows.
Two big shoes.
The big shoes, yeah. Kiss and Guns N' Roses, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So I understand there's some differences of opinion on how the shows went.
Well, I don't know if there's going to be differences of opinion, but there's going to be probably double standards between both shows, I think.
Absolutely, and I would have to agree.
Difference in standards? Okay, so I take it.
Well,
I'm going to guess here. Chaz did not like the Guns N' Roses show.
Well, no. Chaz went to Guns N' Roses not liking Guns N' Roses.
No, I've always been the biggest Axl Rose hater in this world, and I was the first one. You can look back to our conversations a year ago, how I would just shit talk Axl Rose and all that stuff. But after seeing him live, the dude was fucking awesome.
You liked him, huh? He's lost a little bit of weight too. He's lost a little weight.
And he sings. He was singing great.
He sounded good.
He was. Oh, he sounded excellent. They actually sounded better to me than they did 25 years ago when I saw them.
Really? Really? Whoa,
yeah.
Really?
I was really going in being upset because the true original band wasn't there. And now I understand why they didn't bring certain people back, because the drummer and the second guitar player that they had are better than any other member that's ever been in that spot before, I think. And it was a much better musician performance, in my opinion, than it was the first time 25 years ago. Of course, when I see him 25 years ago, not a single person on that stage was fucking sober, just to add.
Yeah, they were pretty hammered.
You know, Duff was puking on the side of the stage. Slash could barely stand. Axl was being a prima donna and kicking monitors and shit. So the band I saw Wednesday was, I believe, a sober Guns N' Roses.
Well, that's nice. It's nice to see a sober Guns N' Roses. That's kind of.
I can't say that for sure because, maybe the drugs are just better now and it doesn't show as bad.
Well, maybe they have a little bit of self-control.
they seemed like a more like honed in, mature band. Like Axl was great. Like and like he's learned. It's sad to say this because I'm in no way, shape, like Axl Rose popularity, but he's learning how to be a frontman now. Because I'll watch him like from 10 years ago, 20 years ago. He runs around so much he can't breathe and sing anymore.
Right.
And now it's just like he reins it in. He didn't really run. He was walking around doing what he had to do. He didn't let the crowd sing. We call that pulling a Vince Neil, but that's just because Vince Neil is fat. But
right.
Axl just he did good. I was the biggest Axl Rose hater in the world, and the dude like rocked it. So.
Well, good. Well, that's a good review there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, if under the Kiss show, I will say, in my opinion, it was 1,000 times better than last year's Kiss show that I saw. I almost, last Kiss show I saw, I was so disappointed myself that I really didn't want to go see him again. And I enjoyed it. It was really good the way they did it. We all know Paul Stanley can't sing like he used to, but this time they hit it a lot better, I think, than they did the first time. Or he just was really able to sing more this time. So it was much better. But I had to give kudos to, just like Guns N' Roses drummer, man, Eric Singer was probably the best I've ever seen him. And I don't know, it's like they let the new guys actually shine, I think, for the first time, in my opinion. The only thing that saddened me a little bit was that the first 2 or 3 times I saw Kiss were in these massive sports arenas, and this time it was in a parking lot of a casino. And that kind of depressed me in some way. But they still put on a hell of a show.
Well, yeah, but it's not like they're not doing those tours. They just did those tours the past 5 years. This was a casino tour. Right now, buddy of mine, Andy's seeing them at a casino in Chicago. You know what I mean? So it's just like that's what they're doing right now.
Well, they're getting ready to open a casino in Oklahoma. They went in with the Indians. Yeah, I heard Wild Bill talk about it. They're opening a what's the name of that restaurant that they opened?
The restaurant, yeah, Rock and Brews.
Rock and Brews. Well, they're gonna have a Rock and Brews hotel in Las Vegas.
Yeah. Well, see, that makes sense now because they're playing at all the Indian casinos.
Yeah, they're playing at the casinos, and they're going to promote their casinos. And they're opening a brand new one, and they say it's supposed to be really spectacular. And it's going to be like the Taj Mahal of Kiss. And I think when that's done, that project is done, that's when I think Gene's going to step away and Paul's going to step away from it.
Well, Chaz had a good point the other day. He said they're probably going to do a kind of a Vegas show with new people. And I said that's the only way they can get away with it, because you can't just put 4 new guys out there, go on tour, and say this is Kiss. But now if there's Kiss casinos, that makes more sense, I think.
Right. Well, it's still going to be, I mean, that damn well he's not going to give up any interest in the band. Gene
it's even if they have other people do it, they're still going to be.
They're going to get a piece of the pie.
A piece of the pie. They're going to get all the pie. Everybody's going to get paid like employees.
Yeah, they're going to be employees. They're not going to be stars.
No, they'll be employees of Kiss Enterprises. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. And nobody in their right mind, even after Paul and Gene are gone, their heirs should never give up the right to that. Don't you think, Chaz?
They'll never will. Are you crazy?
I don't know. The fucking Elvis family did.
Yeah, but that's going to be split in between Gene's kids and Paul's kids, and
it's not like
always going to be.
The king, Elvis. If you're talking about Elvis, he didn't leave much. He left a legacy that was empty. He had one kid. That's it.
Yeah, what are you talking about? She got $500. She made $500 million off.
I understand that. No.
After her father died, she made $500 million.
I
then
understand.
she sold everything for $200 million. How the fuck can you do that?
Well, because she's already got the money and she didn't want any more. And not only that, who did she marry? She married somebody. Who did she get married to?
Which
Michael
time?
Jackson.
Michael
Nicolas
Jackson,
Cage.
but Nicolas Cage. I mean, she's got more money than she needs. I mean, I don't think she's really worried about it. Her dad's dead and gone, and she moved on with it.
That's not the point.
That's not her legacy.
You should. What do you mean? It's not her legacy.
It's not. It's not her. She had her own thing.
Then she shouldn't spend the money. Then she shouldn't spend a fucking penny from the legacy. If she doesn't want to. If she doesn't want to respect and guard her father's likeness, image, and his everything, then she should deserve to spend the money, because I would want to I don't want my father's image on toilet paper.
Whose hands did she even leave Elvis in?
Fucking XM or X. What is that?
Sirius XM.
Whoa.
Yeah. Now this is what those bastards did. Now listen to this. Now it's all about money. Before it was okay. We're going to make money, but protect my father's legacy. Now, if you want to see his gravesite that's on the property that you already fucking paid to get to, you got to pay another $28 just to go see the gravesite.
That's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. And now they're making it a business, which is okay. I understand you have to make money, but now it's nothing to do with Elvis anymore. It's just about making money. That's it. And to me, that's the crime. I'll never go there. I've never been there, and I will never go there, because that's just fucking.
I've been there, and it's pretty cool.
It's
pretty cool. I've been there. We went to see. We stopped by Elvis's house on our way back up. My current wife. We went down to New Orleans, and on our way back, we stopped in Memphis, and we went by the mansion and all that shit, and we went in, and that was, just to do the tour was like $35 for each person, and it was, it was worth it. It was a lot of fun. We had a blast. I mean, we were there. For
Here's what but you got to worry about something. You got to worry about two of the biggest names from the early years of music are Elvis and the Beatles. The thing is though, the Beatles are popular. Will keep getting popular with the younger generations. Elvis is getting less popular with younger generations. So it seems like they're trying to get as much money as they can while they can, because 25 years from now, Graceland might not even be a thing anymore, because who's gonna fucking go?
Right.
And it might not be. Agreed. But I understand that it's a business now. But even with the Beatles, they're out to make a lot of money too. Like you said, okay, we'll go with the Beatles. They're worse, in my opinion. They fucking tell people, this is what you're selling it for. No, you can't stream our music. I mean, they're just like Nazis with the fucking music.
Right.
They're like, they want every penny from every track played. If you try to put a Beatles track on YouTube, bam, done. You're not getting it on there. And it's ridiculous. How much money can you have? You already have $1 billion, Paul McCartney. How much more do you need?
Yeah, that's true.
It's you have more money than any rock star ever. Why do you need every else penny? I don't get it.
I don't either.
And like Chad said, now they know as the young generation is hip to the Beatles. They're hip to the Beatles. That sounded like I was 55 or something. But they're buying stuff now, okay? So now they're making more money than ever. The Beatles will never stop making money, I think.
Well, and that's the thing. And it's like the Beatles, are in the culture of being cool for some reason, and Elvis isn't. And it doesn't make sense. It just seems like Elvis' popularity just gets less and less and less with every generation.
Which is a shame, and I think the problem was, Chaz, is that they oversaturated the market with Elvis for so fucking long, people finally just got sick of him, and I don't know. I mean, Elvis, everything. You had fucking Elvis marathons twice a year, and I think the younger generation finally just got sick of their grandparents watching Elvis all the time, and they turned it off, made it old.
I don't know. I just think it's a folklore thing. The Beatles are a bunch of hype, too, and Elvis isn't anymore.
Right.
The Beatles are hyped as the greatest band ever. Nobody says anything about Elvis like that, and it's just unfortunate.
That was because he was taken off of the market. I mean, quite literally, but he died. I mean, and pretty soon, I mean, the Beatles are going to be the same fucking way.
But that's true. That's true also. Free Ride wow. I can't believe you just said something really insightful. Because he is dead, and he can't be there to hawk the music, okay, where Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr are still here.
Right.
So until the
allegedly.
last Beatle dies. Right. So at least until Ringo Starr dies, there's still a Beatle, okay?
Right,
and
right.
once the Beatles are gone, and then a few years it'll be okay, they're dead. Oh my God, the Beatles, when those two die, they'll sell again real big, and then after a while they'll fade away like maybe Elvis did. So I guess that's Free Ride.
Yeah.
Good job, man. Let's mark that down.
Mark that down. Write that down. It doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen occasionally on the Conjugal Visit. So yeah. So you're both mixed on the concerts. I mean,
I don't think it's mixed. I think it's more or less that, you know, he went in there hating it and came out loving it, you know.
Right.
And I think he got to see why I like Guns N' Roses, because he could never probably understand why I liked them, and I didn't understand why he didn't like them, because
up until August 16th, 2017, I never heard Axl Rose sound good live. And if you don't sound good live as a singer, coming from a good singer, you're a piece of shit and you should quit your job.
Right.
And he did quit for a while, and he apparently worked on it, and he sounded great.
I think he should have never did that high squeal and like he did. I don't think that was in his range in the beginning, and I think he forced it and ruined his voice, is what I think.
No, because he does that fine now. It's weird. Like he's hitting higher notes actually last night than he was in '87. The problem is he would put all the weird like cat sound in his voice, and he'd be like that, and that's what killed it for him. And now he was just actually singing in a high range, and it was great.
And he had a lot of heroin back then too.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
You know, drugs do fuck your shit up, man. You know, they were drinkers. He was a regular smoker back then too. I don't know if he smokes anymore now. I mean, you've never seen Slash or Axl without a cigarette in any interview or any ads back or photos back in the day. You know, it was like,
and that's terrible for your voice.
Sure, that's what I'm saying. And they drank a lot, so he probably is a more sober, like I said, a more sober Axl, and he's not fucked up. You know, when he came back the first time, like in '01 or whatever it was, he was too big. He was out of shape, man. He couldn't physically do it. You know, he went from a thin man to Meatloaf. You know, so how can you sit? It's like Mike Reno from Loverboy. If that dude tried to put on his red leather pants now, holy fuck. Have you seen him?
No.
I think Free Ride's wheezing.
See,
I'm looking for a song here
Paul Stanley is my favorite singer of all time, but I can admit he can't do it like he used to anymore. So it was just like it was a weird week for me singer-wise that my idol, my favorite one, didn't sound too great, and the guy that I thought was complete trash was awesome. So it was just like an odd, backwards week.
It was, and they did give him time to recover for each song. I know he pulled a Dave Lee Roth and changed his shirt and hat between every song. And
yes.
And his jacket and whatever. I think there was only maybe a handful of songs where he sang 2 in a row, but they played for almost 4 hours.
Yeah.
And I think they did some pretty great, Guns N' Roses is one of the only bands, Guns N' Roses and Van Halen, I should say, are my 2 favorite bands that do other people's songs, that do covers. And I know a lot of people would say, oh, they should do their own songs. They didn't do this song. They didn't do this song. But I fucking loved every cover that they did.
They did Live and Let Die, right? They did Live and Let Die.
Oh, of course. They did the songs
that made them money.
What?
Yeah, they did the songs that made them money.
Obviously, what do you mean? No, they had so many of their own hits. Guns N' Roses from 87 to like 93, there was nobody bigger. There was no band bigger. Metallica just started becoming big. Guns N' Roses was the Rolling Stones of the fucking 80s. And they had hits all over the charts for all them years.
Well, yeah, they also had the Live and Let Die, and they also did the other covers that they did.
Knocking on Heaven's Door.
Yeah, and I hate that song, by the way. I think it's the worst song ever produced. I hated it.
Wow.
I live that boys. Live and Let Die. It gets under my skin every time it comes on the radio. I fucking change the fucking song. I hate them both. I don't like both covers. I don't like both of those covers at all.
That's both of those covers. No, not the Paul McCartney one, but the Knocking on Heaven's Door was actually a bigger hit for Guns N' Roses than it was for Bob Dylan or Eric Clapton.
But that doesn't matter. That just means I hate it even more. Because
you sound like
away,
jazz.
it takes away. It takes away from the genuine song. I mean, it just it doesn't. How do I put it?
Free ride. Okay, let me ask you a question. Do you like Led Zeppelin?
Well, yeah.
Okay, then shut the fuck up because you're gonna just veto everything you say right now because almost everything Led Zeppelin did they either ripped off or covered.
No.
Yes,
They did do some covers, but there's a difference paying homage to a cover and to an artist than to just play
and then ripping it off.
Then ripping it off. There's a difference. When
Led Zeppelin
did it,
rap fans of the past day. They sampled everybody else's music, dude.
Well, yeah, okay. Well, that's fine.
They're getting sued every year for it.
Well, but that's not the point. That's not the point. When you pay homage to someone and do a song right, like Dazed and Confused. Okay, Dazed and Confused wasn't a Led Zeppelin song to begin with. But what they did with that song was to transform it to make it pay homage to the original writers and the original artists that did the song. Just like several other artists do. But Guns N' Roses took that song, and I believe in my heart, and I know it for a fact, that they ripped the hell out of that song.
Oh, they did it their way. You can't knock somebody for doing it their way. They should do it their way. I mean, really.
His voice it's like nails on a fucking chalkboard.
I just got to be honest with you, and Chaz, you can attest to this too. That sounds just like our father.
Yeah, it does. Well, I mean, I would have said the same. I mean, I still say the same thing. Just because I loved Guns N' Roses live, I mean, you're not going to see me throw him on the CD too often. Like, it's just I don't like his voice on CD.
His voice. I hate his voice.
I hate Axl Rose too. You guys know that. I like their album from 2008. I think that he sounds better on that album. And if they record a new album, I'd be interested to hear it because I think he's singing better now. Well, see, this is the whole point. This is what I never liked the way Axl Rose sang. I've never could understand when people say he's one of the greatest singers. I'm not saying that. I like them just the same reason I like David Lee Roth. He sucks as a singer. We all know that. But I listen to music for what it has, what the lyrics are, what the sound is in whole. I love the way Slash sounded. And to me, what Izzy Stradlin did, most of the songs that he wrote for that time period where I was growing up meant a lot to me. And it's just like for you, Free Ride, growing up with the Beatles, no matter what anybody says about them, you're going to see them differently than anything else.
Well, yeah, I am going to see the Beatles differently than anything else.
Right, because you grew up with it.
Right, and it's hard to go back and listen to some of the stuff and enjoy it the way that I used to. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I don't listen to Guns N' Roses. The lyrics don't mean as much to me as they did when I was fucking 17 years old. You know, but when Guns N' Roses first came out, I was what? When they come out, 87. So I was like 13.
And you were longing for your fucking days of heroin addiction and stuff.
No,
what lyrics would have attracted you? Like, I don't get it.
No, not most so much the first album. I told you before, I didn't become a true Guns N' Roses fan until 1989 when I heard the first song, "Patience." That song just was so beautiful to me.
That is at the time. That is my utmost favorite Guns N' Roses song. Right. Is "Patience." But that song there was real. That was real Guns N' Roses. That was a very real song.
It was. And that.
Coffee.
Use Your Illusion came out. Those two albums were a hell of a meaning to me. Like, Now, Don't Cry. I love this. Just the words were like the whole thing. If you listen to the whole thing in order, like you're supposed to, the trilogy with I forgot how it went. Is it Coma? You're supposed to listen to them in a certain order, and they're supposed to all go in, to like some kind of a meaning, and it just meant something. I don't know. It was a lot to me back then. I don't know. I can't describe it, but teen angst, what the fuck, whatever. They were heavier than anything else that they were playing on the radio at the time.
You were in hippie mode.
What were they playing heavy that was on the radio from Use Your Illusion? They were playing Don't Cry in November Rain.
No, they played You Could Be Mine. From there, they definitely played that. Not so much from Use Your Illusions. That was Guns N' Roses' pop album. That's when they became like they thought they were the Beatles, and they did like they're gonna do their fucking White Album, And why else would you do two fucking albums like that? When it was just they thought they were the next Beatles or something. But it hit with that time period. You can't. That's right around the same time period Nirvana came out, and okay, all of a sudden the whole genre of fucking music changes. All of a sudden, every hair band that was selling millions of records couldn't fucking sell 10, but Guns N' Roses and Metallica did. So that's got to be something right there.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
But as far as Guns N' Roses are concerned, like I said, they're okay. They've done their thing. I wish they'd have done a new album before they went out on tour.
No, they had to make sure they got along first.
Yeah. Well, this tour is a true test of that. And so, I mean, there's a lot to it. I'm sure it's been a lot of hard work for them. And they really definitely, from what I understand, the show is spectacular. A lot of visuals, a lot of backup, and just some good stuff. And if you get a chance to go see Guns N' Roses, by all means, go see them. I just have a thing against Guns N' Roses. I think that they are. I don't think they've changed. I think they're assholes, and that's all I got to say about that. So, but anyways, we got a guest coming in. It's Cat Mues. And she's been an entertainer for years, and we hope to bring her in here and just have a chat about rock and roll music in general. We're going to talk about a few things St. Louis style, and we're also going to talk about, who knows, whatever the subject takes us to. Don't be scared. This is Conjugal Visits, and we're going to listen to, right now, we're going to throw in Corners of Sanctuary, Wrecking Ball. We'll be right back.
No, Knocking on Heaven's Door.
No, we're not doing Knocking on Heaven's Door. Fuck that song.
I guess the meeting of the Laptop Guild was what? Canceled tonight or what?
Yeah, yes, it was.
All right, that's Wrecking Ball, Corners of Sanctuary, right here on Conjugal Visit. And with us now is Cat Mues, our guest tonight. Cat, welcome to the show. Welcome.
Hi there. Meow, meow, meow.
Yeah.
You know how many times a day I hear that? Good Lord, yeah.
What,
that's the only one
meow?
named Cat.
Yeah.
Meow, meow, meow. Yeah. The last name is Muse. Nobody believes that. It really is.
It
Cat
really
Muse. Is that not
Cat-
hilarious?
Cat
I
Mues.
thought that was a stage. I thought
No,
that was
it's
like
not a stage name. It's my real name, believe it or not.
Oh, cool.
Fits right in, man. Fits right in.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
So how have you been? Everything good?
Oh, all right. Busy.
Busy?
Busy.
Busy?
Yeah,
That's good.
I mean, I work a regular gig. Everybody's got to have one of those, even if you're in the music business, no matter what you do.
Right.
So I got a Monday through Friday gig. I work as a paralegal. And then in between that, I, get bombarded from Facebook over who's playing where. And I try to get, do this little thing on once a week about who's playing where. And I try to get as many bands in there as I can. But everybody's attention span is only like a minute and a half. So there's only so much information I can jam in there to see who's playing where. And I try to make it different every week, too. Like every 6 weeks, pick, I try not to use the same bands over and over again because somebody gets their feelings hurt no matter what.
Well, no matter what. And in this day and age, it's like I'm getting that echo back in my head here, and it's setting me off.
Down some? How about that?
That's a lot better. What I was going to say is you're right, and you don't want to hurt anybody's feelings because they have so much big feelings out there, don't they, Kat?
Oh, they do. The big running joke is there should be we need either another cover band in St. Louis or just another band to do more cover songs, and I think it should be named Egos and Attitudes.
Egos and Attitudes.
Yeah, don't you think?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I think Chaz was the lead singer of one of those bands.
I thought that was the band that opened up for Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Can I chime in about Guns N' Roses? I'm a stagehand. I work for Clancy.
Okay.
I work that show. So here's the scuttlebutt on that. Now, from the inside, because I get to be actually where they put me, I was doing sound. So literally, I was underneath the stage. And Richard Fortas, I have a lot of people know him because he's from St. Louis, and he's a super cool guy, and he's really sweet. And he was right above me, playing and all that good stuff. Now, the sound guys and all the inside guys who do these shows, they're saying this is their last go around. This tour's over, they're done. So that's why there was not a new CD or a new album, and they all do not get along. They just stay away from each other because they can't get along.
Which is a shame because the one time they were like brothers.
Right, I know, pitiful, isn't it?
It is.
But I've known guitar techs in this town that have worked with them and literally can't deal with them because they are so hard to manage and deal with. And, it's really sad because all these bands, no matter who they are, when they make it to the top, majority of them forget where they came from. They forget we are the ones who put them there, and that's really, really sad. So it's just, but I understand. They're all of them. Richard's probably the only one who isn't. He's very low key.
Yeah, and I think he's actually surprised me as a guitar player seeing him live. I'm from New York, and when I saw him, I was like, holy shit, this dude is really, really, really good.
Yeah, and he's unaffected by fame like so many rock and rollers are so many artists that are affected by it. And he's real quiet, he's real soft spoken, but and he just likes to play his guitar and he does it very well. I love his band Dead Daisies. I think they're killer.
I think he knows that he's got a gig with Axl because ever since they reformed, he's been in that band since 2000, and there's been so many lead guitar players in and out, and even with the reformation of the band, they kept him. So I think that's Axl's boy now.
Yeah,
definitely.
And he's a good person.
But there had to be a lot of I don't know how because he told me he wasn't going to go back when he left them. So there had to be some kind of serious meeting, I'm sure, for him to go back out on the road with him because he just got married in December.
Oh, did he?
Axel's, the main condition that I can see is Axel needs to not act like an asshole. I mean,
he can't help it.
He can't help it. He's such an arrogant
There can't be
prick.
a condition. Yeah, there can't be no such condition because he's an asshole. See, here's the thing about Axl Rose is he just didn't become an asshole when he got rich. He was always an asshole.
He's always been an asshole. Yeah, he's always been an asshole.
And I give him credit for that he's always been an asshole. That's who he is, and he stays true to himself. I don't respect him for it, but I give him some credit for it.
Well, fans don't want to see that. So, like, the whole incidents, all that shit in the early 90s, thankfully I wasn't there for because it would have made me lose more respect for him. But even at this show, knowing that he's an asshole, he didn't seem like an asshole. He wasn't acting like one. He wasn't acting like a prima donna. He went up, he sang, he did a show, and he left. Like, that's how you have to do it. At least he's handling it to the consumer eye more professional.
Sure, he is definitely.
Well, Cat, they have to mature sometime, right?
Right, but you know what? That show, I was kind of disappointed in his performance in regards to his singing ability. I think he's lost a lot of it. Maybe it's just a singer thing. I don't know, but it seemed like there was something missing. Not just the asshole side of him, but there was something. It just wasn't quite right. I mean, the rest of the band played their hearts out. I think because it is a farewell tour, but I just felt like maybe he was worried about it. I don't know, or just didn't give a shit. I have no idea, but it was just kind of, I was a little disappointed.
He's definitely one of those singers that have different nights. If he's pissed off, he's going to have a pissed off performance.
Right.
But in Buffalo here, we just saw him this past Wednesday. He must have been in a very good mood because when I saw him 25 years ago, I didn't enjoy him. But this time I did a lot. And it wasn't horrible at all. It was good. It was actually, I mean, these were my childhood. Slash, to me, I loved Slash. And I think he did an amazing job.
In St. Louis, I think he was out of his comfort zone because he knows the past in St. Louis. The past, that cost him over $6 million here in St. Louis, and he got sued big time for that. And it was his fault. It was his fucking fault. There's no getting out of that. And I think he was uncomfortable being in St. Louis. The whole time he was here, he was probably looking over his shoulder.
Probably. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, like I said, there was something it just wasn't, I don't know. I guess everybody just expected more, or maybe everybody expected him to be that asshole again. I'm not real sure, but I mean, on the whole, I mean, it was kind of bittersweet, I would say. I mean, it was still
a concert. It should have been free.
I think the show means different things to like different people. Like, I was speaking before. I'm 43 years old, so they came at a pivotal time in my life where I was a young teen, and you're more impressionable to music and stuff. So I latched onto them right away. Where, Free Ride's older, he's like, what the hell are these guys? And then Chaz is younger than me, and he's like, they're all hype, whatever. I think it all matters where you are and how old you are when the band comes out, for any band, really.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree with that because, I mean, I'm as old as Free Ride, probably older. I'm not sure. But anyway, it's the same thing. When you grow up with all that great classic rock and then the new generation comes around, like Axl, his band Guns N' Roses. I mean, he's spurned off a whole new generation of guys wanting to play guitar, and be kick-ass and all that happy stuff, which is cool. It's there. It's just a different. But he had to learn it from somewhere. So Axl, Guns N' Roses learned their stuff from the stuff we listen to.
Absolutely.
So it's a tribute.
Right.
It's all a tribute. Anybody who carries on a classic rock, no matter who they listen to or who they grew up with, they carry it on. I mean, it started somewhere.
What's the new cutoff for classic rock, do you think, Kat?
Original classic rock?
Yeah, I mean,
I would say original classic rock. I would say maybe 92, 93.
92, 93?
Yeah, Guns N' Roses. Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, classic.
I mean,
so they're now considered classic rock?
Yeah, I mean, as far as original, I mean, that, where it had to start from. I'm talking Beatles. I'm talking, they were, of course, They're gods. They're never going to break up, and they're never going to die.
Classic rock's. Yeah, like 70. I think 72 to 92 is the classic rock movement. You know, and like you could even go back far as like Jimi Hendrix and stuff. But 72 is when
Here comes that age thing again, though, Guido. Sorry to interrupt, but my classic rock era is from 66 through 82.
Yeah, so, but you're older than Elvis, so you know that.
No, I'm not older than Elvis was. Elvis was older than I.
But when I was sitting in the car with my dad, you know, listening to classic rock radio, I was listening to hearing, you know, Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin and Boston,
and, 70s,
the Eagles and all that stuff. So
the
for me, classic rock.
Led Zeppelin was 60s. Jimi Hendrix was 60s. The Doors was 60s. All of those classic rock bands from the
I used
late
to think
60s.
In the 80s that I was actually Jim Morrison for a few years. I did.
You thought you were...
Really?
I just... Yeah. The classic rock stigma though is weird because it's like you got like Free Ride saying with the 60s bands and all that stuff. But to me, when like Dom said like 72 to whatever, like in that time, the 70s, early to mid to late 70s, was there a classic, you know, end quote, classic rock band that could do no wrong? I don't think it mattered. I just think it was like, you came out, you're a rock band, we love you. Like, is there any hated band from that time? It doesn't matter.
There is.
People weren't picky. They'd be like, who's this band? Blue Oyster Cult? Love them. Let's go see them right now. It didn't matter.
When a band becomes a sellout, when they brand stuff with their music like GM and Ford and Anheuser-Busch or whoever it might be, when they do that, when they sell themselves like that, that's when they lose their touch. That's when bands start to lose their touch.
There's only one band.
What? No. Why would you say that?
Well, let me explain.
I marketed.
That is marketing, okay, but they've lost their touch in such a way. Okay, like the Who. Okay, how many Who songs are on commercials today? There's 3 or 4 different ones that come off.
How many Who songs?
But the Who is not prevalent in new rock.
Physically sold. Yeah, but how many Who songs are people buying? Nobody fucking buys music.
No, it's a way to keep their music alive. It's a way to keep it. That's what I'm saying. When they sell off their music to be in commercials and things like that, to go be commercial, they're already commercially successful, aren't they? Well, no, their shit is starting to wean off. So they sell that song and say, okay, here, I need a couple $1,000,000 for my song. And that's how they do it, because the song isn't selling anymore. In fact, it's not being played on the fucking radio
But you know what? That should. I don't think it's a sellout. I think it's more of just continuing it. You know, when CSI came out, they used all those Who songs. You know what? That's a compliment that they're using music we grew up on, and it's killer.
That's a great point.
And you know what? And they just gonna keep carrying it on, because that's how our generations now are looking back to these kids who want to be musicians, and they hear Guns N' Roses, and they go back to Jimi Hendrix, and they go back to the Who and all these killer bands from way back when. That's what they're doing. They're going back, and they're going to carry it on. I wouldn't call that a sellout.
No, it's not a sellout.
You know, that's why I am so glad. Folks, that is exactly why I like having Cat Mues on the show. That was awesome. Thank you. That was fucking great. No, honestly, that was awesome. You just put me in my fucking
Pete Townsend
place.
Also said, Pete Townsend also said that they've made more money off CSI than they did off selling records.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, they're going to keep making it. Think about it. You know, back in the day, like, you know, they got no royalties. A lot of bands didn't get royalties. They got screwed out of money, and et cetera, et cetera. It's not like it is nowadays where everybody gets a contract just to go to the bathroom. Back then, you know, how much money did they really lose? And like a lot of starving musicians who start out will play just for praise. They'll play just to get a gig. They'll play just for a future gig. Please listen to us. Please listen to us. It's the same kind of thing. And now they're going to turn around after all the money they made over the years, and CSI says, I want to use your songs. They're going to turn around and resell it all over again. What's that thing about a car salesman or somebody you can, you know, these people that rip people off when they sell the same house to 14 different people? You know?
Yeah.
But guess what? They didn't lose their integrity. I felt like it was a compliment to them and a big, you guys rock. and it's just to carry it on.
They offered
Here's
to
what-
take it to their name brand, right?
Here's what. Okay, Free Ride. Let me ask you a question.
All right.
You have a talk show right now.
Yeah.
If someone serious for you came to you and said, "We want to put your show on the air and we're going to give you $5 million a year, but you got to change it a little bit," you would say, "Nah, I want to keep it the way I have it, and I'm good."
Probably.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Full of crap. You would take it in a minute.
No, I would take
That's
it in a
okay.
minute. You're
Yeah,
right.
that's okay, Guido.
I
You
would
can
take
kick
it.
them out. I'll
That's not
take
a
over.
Yeah, I'll take you guys with
yeah.
me. I got to take you guys with me because there's no getting out of it. There's no getting out of it. Well, yeah, of course I would. Of course I
Contract in the
would.
dressing room.
Of course I would. I mean,
So if someone calls Pete Townsend and says, I'll give you $2 million to use your song in my fucking show," have at it, motherfucker.
well, you want
Right,
to talk about it.
exactly.
Just,
Why not?
you want to talk about. He was asking what band actually was a disappointment from the '70s, and I'd have to say
Yes.
from Jefferson Starship was a disappointment.
Oh
to
my
me.
God, dude! Knee deep in the hoops.
I'm not talking about the
What's wrong
records
with
they
you?
did. Now wait.
Exactly. But
What? You out of your mind?
Yes, I'm out of my mind. But when you think about
you
it,
know what?
they
what's
went
so
over-
funny? Let me
they
tell you
went
this.
over
This
to
is what
pop.
I think.
They
Back
went
in
to
the
pop.
day, it was the rock and roll when it all started. Everybody, there was always the people who thought that we were creeps and weirdos and hippies and criticized us and all that. And as the times changed, we got bigger, better, and badder with our the technology age and all that crap. Jefferson Starship started as Jefferson Airplane and then changed their name to Starship.
I know.
Before anybody else was doing anything about space other than Star Trek.
Well, they were
You know?
awfully spacey, but they went into the space and then they got out of the spacey and got out of the psychedelic era and went into the
That's what they
pop
put
era.
you on acid.
We built this city on rock and roll, and
Right.
Haight-Ashbury went back 300 years, okay, when that album came out, and it was a song about San Francisco. We built this city on rock and roll, and there was nothing, there was no
it made
rock
them
in their music.
multi-millionaires.
It was psychedelic
It made-
music in their era, and
it
when they were
made
the
them
best, when they were at their best.
multi-millionaires.
I'm just saying.
Millions.
Well, I'm not talking about the money they
Millions.
made. They made
Nobody
millions.
Like
cares once
NSYNC.
they
You can
make
say that's
money.
a disappointment.
No, I feel it's a disappointment to me. They should have
No.
kept it going or broke up. I mean, I'm just saying, why convert it over to pop? Other than making the money, and that's fine. But they lost they lost their artistry in their music.
Okay, but think about it like this.
The
What about the
music business.
crossover artists? You say that's a disappointment? I know. I have to say yes on Aerosmith. I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know what
Yeah.
that dude was thinking. He cannot do country. But I mean, there's crossover artists. What's the difference? So these guys, they wanted
They
to do
went from
something
rock
different.
to pop. They went from rock to
Yeah.
pop.
If you-
Okay,
Right.
So
if you want to see music, that doesn't have a commercial value to it, then go see your local bands in your area. Because if anybody's popular, they're going to do whatever the fuck they can to make money and not get a real job.
Exactly.
So
And that's what makes
You're never gonna find-
and everybody knows that's what makes it good. How much money you make. That means it's a good song and you're a good artist.
does say
not,
that.
not
How much
always.
money.
Not
But
always.
no,
I gotta
I'm not
disagree
saying-
with that.
Always.
All
Ain't
the local
It
bands,
That was the
doesn't.
stupidest thing ever to hit the
all
air.
the local bands, they have no talent. No talent in the local scene. They're
I
not
didn't say-
good musicians
no,
because
that's-
they don't have millions.
But that's not what sells is good talent. Good talent doesn't sell. I love Steve Vai and all these other guys, but they don't sell as much as Slash does, and they're 10 times better than Slash, and I'll agree
Yep.
with that.
Yep.
But Slash sells more records because Slash appeals to what the general population wants.
Exactly. He's a
Right.
market. He's a tool
Right.
to market, and there's not a tool in a bad sense, but he uses his musical ability, but also his
there's
image.
so many good-
It's his image
Right.
that sells, not his talent. Is that what you're saying?
Right.
And if you didn't grow up in the 80s or were alive in the 80s, you don't get the music image situation. Before MTV, nobody cared about looks. As soon as the MTV age started, looks and appearance started to matter.
Exactly.
It
Like
didn't matter
Brian
how
Adams
good-
would not. He couldn't go out in public because he didn't want to play his own songs that he's been writing for artists for years because of he had acne as a kid. and he was scared to death. He had stage fright, and he would not go out there mainly because of the way he looked. But with the grace of God and all these kind of filters and everything else on cameras, he started to go out and do his own thing. But yeah, he wouldn't go out. So yeah, the MTV age really put everything into perspective when it came to looks. Everybody was in a hairband.
I think in the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s, it gets progressively more, people get more picky and subdivided. Because like what I was saying earlier is like the 70s, it didn't matter what you did, people liked it. Because how is classic rock fucking Deep Purple and Elton John? There's nothing similar about those two. Nothing. But they're all encompassing, and everybody that likes, I'm sure both of you guys, you know what I'm saying? Everybody that likes that kind of music likes everything, everybody.
Well, I like artists in phases, though. I like artists in phases. I like the early Elton John. I like the earlier, we're talking 67, 68 when those albums came out.
Those are great.
Those are great albums. Madman Across the Water, fantastic album. But then when he gets up into the pop era, and when he starts doing songs with Michael Jackson, and he does songs, of course, with Paul McCartney, and he does this and he does that, he's changed over. I think after Rocket Man, I think it was more or less okay. That's pop.
He did songs with neither of them too, by the way.
He did a song with.
He did songs with not one
Michael
of those.
Michael Jackson, didn't he? I thought he did. There's a song he worked on with him.
He did a song with Stevie Wonder.
No, that was Paul McCartney.
Huh?
He did a song with
What
song?
What was it? I don't remember. It was something. I'm just thinking
Elton
that there
John was good and popular until he officially came out of the closet. And then all of a sudden people couldn't like him anymore.
Oh, I knew he was gay from the beginning. When I saw him at Kiel Auditorium,
you thought he was gay. Just like everybody thought David Bowie was gay. Everybody thought Freddie Mercury was gay, but nobody knew it until the end that Freddie Mercury was gay.
Oh, I knew it. Have you ever seen him in concert, man? Seriously, have you gone to one of his concerts? If you ever went to one of Queen's concerts,
well, look at Paul Stanley. People think he's gay.
The first 10 rows are all men. There's not a woman in the fucking crowd. So no, I'm serious. I went to twice.
Right. Once these guys came out of the closet, you're right. It did change. Changed a lot of things. Even though people just were not still accepting of it.
It didn't make their music less great. It didn't make their music less great.
It didn't, but it made it less great to like you as a heterosexual male. I can't like that.
Well, I don't understand that
Who cares?
reasoning and thought. It's the talent that matters, and
exactly, because they're not doing that on stage.
But nowadays, if you came out and said I'm gay, you just sold 1 million records.
There you go. Exactly.
There aren't any transgender artists out there, are there?
This is a gay-friendly talk show.
What about RuPaul?
Yeah. RuPaul.
He still plays both roles.
No, there is actually.
And he still plays himself.
There is actually. I could give you guys a little bit of information. There is a I guess singer or maybe techno-y dancey singer. Her name is Jeffree Star, and it's very popular. Was very popular like 10 years ago. But it was was guy dressed like a woman, Jeffree Star. So
I know one. Go ahead. Rosanna Arquette's brother, the one that was in with Culture Club.
Oh yeah. Oh, what's his name? Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Not David, the other one. Yeah.
No, not David. David's married to Courtney Cox. I can't remember who he was. But he's an actor and a singer. Or no, he portrayed it he was in that movie with Adam Sandler, The Wedding Singer. He was in that band that they dubbed it where it was
he did. Do you really want to hurt me?
The guy from You Spin Me Right Round. He's a transgender. You spin me right round like a record, baby.
Who was that?
I forgot.
I remember the video. I can see the video all day long, but I can't remember who it is.
Yeah, he's transgender, and so is Lola.
Oh yeah, Lola was. Yeah,
I met her at a club down in Soulbury Street.
Yeah, were you drinking?
What kind of club was that?
You drink cherry cola and it tastes
tastes
just like
cherry
champagne.
cola.
Yeah, or you drink champagne, it tastes just like cherry cola. That kind of thing, yeah. So, Kat, I want to see the.
I know what.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, man.
No, I was just gonna. We could keep discussing that topic, but if you want to switch topics, go ahead.
No. We can keep going. Keep going.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Let's have fun with it.
Now you made me forget what I was going to say. But anyway, different kind of music. I know what Chaz is saying though. When in the 70s, there is different. We as people accepted different kinds of music easier than people do now. Okay, now there is so many subgenres. There's not just rock anymore. There's emo rock. There's goth metal. There's speed metal. There's thrash metal. There's so many subgenres of rock and roll, and it's like
death metal. Can't forget the
death
metal.
And it's like just different communities. Where back then it was everybody listened to the same music.
Yeah, well, yeah, but it was more separated because they burned fucking disco albums. They burned John Lennon albums. They burned. There was a lot of times when artists disappointed their audience. Back in the 70s.
I'll tell you what.
Today, these artists can say anything they want. You don't see anybody out burning albums anymore, do you? And some of these hip hop. Well, some of these hip hop guys.
Over.
Huh?
Freedom of speech is over, dude. If you talk about the wrong
these guys say anything they fucking want, and they still sell albums. These hip hop artists.
They're talking about their little problems in the ghetto.
Your mic's breaking up, buddy.
Yeah, I can't hardly hear him.
Yeah, I can't hear him either. We lost you, bud. I know he's there. His mic.
I'm
here
still
somewhere.
I think
I think it was back in the 80s. I remember that. Well, no, maybe the late 70s, let's see. I hadn't graduated high school yet, but one of our friends in high school, one of my really good friends, somehow, when all that stuff started with the records being played backwards, and a lot of artists just put jokes on there, and the churches got a hold of it, and everybody was going crazy, burning records, and blasphemy and the devil, blah, blah, blah. That was so ridiculous. That's the last time I heard about anybody doing some record burning besides the book burning.
That was our government.
And that whole thing was ridiculous.
Eminem's got a lot of problems his whole career. If you got to look back, like Eminem was getting attacked by the gay rights groups because all he talked about in the first couple albums, he always using the word fag and everything. So it hasn't stopped in the 80s. I don't think it's going on now, but I bet you if Donald Trump, the art of the deal, was on record, they would burn it.
Probably. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. You just wonder what groups, considering some of the rap. My son listened to it. He's 30 now, but when he was 14. 12 or maybe 13, I'm not sure. And when it first came out, he said, Mama, listen to these lyrics. And I wasn't a big rapper fan, but the ones he picked out were the ones that, were told a story, which is what rap started out. And then it started into the cop killing and the dick sucking and all the bullshit that on these rap songs. And all it did was just promote more violence and hatred and that kind of shit. But it never got shut down. Now it just keeps getting evolved into something else. Hip hop, whatever,
Rap of today is actually stupid. They don't even have any good lyrical content anymore.
No.
We're all talking about the hip hop from the earlier days that had some substance.
Right.
Now they just say words and put it on a loop for fucking 3 minutes.
25 minutes.
Right. So it's really nothing. If you listen to the state of music in itself, there's nobody telling the truth anymore. There's no real music of any kind. Like Rage Against the Machine, I don't like political music, but they had a message to put out. Nobody does this anymore. Nobody does. They do music for profit now.
Are you kidding? You haven't heard any of the fucking raps against Donald Trump? Are you guys paying attention?
I'm talking about in the mainstream. Mainstream's
yes,
never
there's a lot
of
mainstream. There's a lot of mainstream stuff like that. That's what's mainstream is hating Donald Trump right now.
Yeah,
that's where it all is.
But well, I'm not mainstream then.
Hey, Kat, turn down speakers just a little bit more, please?
Sure.
Okay, because that echoes
How
huge.
about that?
That's better. That's much better.
Okay.
All right. So anyway, all this talk about music is just phenomenal, and we're going to change the subject here just a little bit. Kat, when you do your video for your show on St. Louis,
Uh-huh.
do you ever do cover the national acts, or is it mainly just local for St. Louis?
Well, the premise behind the station on STL, it's about St. Louis, for St. Louis, in St. Louis.
Okay.
So it's all local artists. There's a few national acts I will do. It depends. I will do it definitely if it's one of our local bands opening for them. But usually local stuff, it's all over Casey. I mean, the national stuff is all over Casey. You can listen to the same, but the local stuff is what needs to get out there, and that's what everybody's paying attention to. So unless Casey says, hey, we got the show, would you mind promoting it, whatever. Because Ron Stevens, my boss at On STL, he was one of the original guys from Casey. Him and Shelley were best buds. Matter of fact, Ron Stevens is the one who hired Hewlett and Mark Close and all those guys. So he's got quite a lot of experience in radio. He's a consultant to radio stations all over the world. I don't know how many stations he does own right now, but so he wanted to do something about St. Louis for St. Louis, and that's where he reached out to me, and then we put this show together where I just pick out as many bands as I can get into a minute and a half. I mean, the show's evolved from, it started out being like a online magazine where every week he would put out, it was about a 5 or 6 minute show, and he'd have different aspects of what was going on in St. Louis, like free things you can do with your family or your dogs or whatever. And then there was a movie review or a book review or something that was going on. And then through process of elimination, people were speeding all through it because my little episode was at the very end. And so then he split it up. And now I said, well, why don't I showcase one original artist? And then on Friday, I'll do a little recap of who's playing where and pick out, 10 or 15 bands and, throw that out there. And then you have to deal with, we're such a disposable society with our phones and everything. Nobody has time to sit there for 5 minutes and listen to their phone. But a minute and a half is about the very, maybe even too much sometimes for people's attention span, between phone calls and text messages and everything people that are doing on their phone. But they'll, so it works. I mean, every week it gets a little bigger. It goes out, it's on YouTube, it's tied in with Show Me St. Louis, and then you share it as many times as you possibly can to different groups that are on Facebook or on Twitter, Instagram, and I think inside of an hour after we release it, it's got over 1,000 hits on it. So it's kind of cool, And then the local guys, the local bands get to see, they get that little 2 minutes of 2 seconds of recognition or whatever, and it means a lot, So
Sure.
it just, our music scene in St. Louis. I was in a band back in the 80s like everybody else. I played stages and all that kind of silly stuff, and a lot of us that are the same age still playing. And I remember what the band scene was like here. The Landing, you couldn't touch it. I worked at one of the bars, and it was on fire every flipping night. It didn't matter what time it was. And then we go over to the east side. And, and original artists were Muddy Waters. Oh, my God, what a great place. Or Kennedy's,
Kennedy's,
our buddy Rob Boyer. There's just tons of musicians that are in, unfortunately, cover bands now to make money. But we're in original bands back then. And you could always listen to some great original music.
Right.
And it's just once everything crashed, bars. The Landing, unfortunately, is now just full of tumbleweed and crickets. It's really sad, really pitiful.
It has gone down.
Bars are not paying what bands are worth. I don't think there is any band that's ever gets paid what they're really worth, because as far as I'm concerned, musicians are priceless. The amount of time and money and effort and heart and soul they put into their art, for hours of practice and all the gear and getting from one gig to the other and all the stuff that goes with it. All of that is, people don't realize what you're getting when you hire a band, regardless if it's a one-piece guy or a solo act or 16 people in a band. It's a lot. You're getting a lot. Unfortunately, the bands are just not, the bars don't pay, people don't go out anymore. They can sit at home and watch it live on Facebook, or they can watch it live, or, somebody else can send them pictures or whatever. So it's just, the market is just not out there. But this little thing that I do every week, it gives them a little recognition. Maybe somebody will carry it even further, and we can, build up our music scene in St. Louis again, like, just better than what it has been, because it's been so
everywhere.
crappy.
Even in Buffalo, right, guys? I mean, Buffalo, the bar scenes and the band scene's just dying, isn't it? Hello?
There is no scene.
Hello?
There is no scene.
Did we lose
The
everybody?
scene here is pretty dead.
Yeah, the only time I make money or do anything music-wise is when I do solo acoustic shows, because and they'll pay me whatever, but they would pay that same amount to like a 5-piece band. So why would I be, I still want to be in a band. I also don't have the fucking time to practice. That's why I do acoustic shows. But like, it's just, that's the only time I actually walk out with like $200-$300 in my pocket.
Right. So if you do the solo
There's only a
stuff,
couple of bands. There's only probably 2. I would probably have to say maybe 3, maybe 4 bands in this town that are full-time musicians but they have busted their ass and have traveled all over. One of them, you're going to screw Dr. Vegas. Those guys are all full-time musicians because they have been everywhere and played everywhere, and they play this, all the top 40 crap and all the dance music. But that's what everybody wants, and it's pitiful.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
I mean, the musicians are all good. They're great. They're really nice guys. I mean, I grew up with Frankie. I remember when he was in 2 great original bands, King of the Hill and Broken Toys, and they were going to set the world on fire, but it didn't happen. What's he doing? In a cover band, playing all this bubblegum rock, what I call it, bubblegum pop stuff, and that's where he makes his money. It's sad.
And he's content. You just get to a point where you're content, I guess. I mean,
I guess.
It's not about being content. There's no venues there. Like, venues for original music are not too big because nobody wants to take the risk. There's not enough people going to see original artist bands.
Right.
They're not, and it's not that they're not out there. It's just nobody goes to see them. So why would bands book them unless they're going to play for the door or something? Where you get a cover band, the cover band's getting guaranteed money.
Right.
Okay. So they don't have to sell anything, where the original band has to sell tickets, whatever, to make the money. Cover band's going to get the money if 2 people show up or not.
Right.
So it's a sure bet, I think, for the bar and for the band. And it's a shame. It really is a shame.
It is.
Yeah,
it is. It's really sad. Tonight, it's just, I hate to hear it because there are so many good bands, so many good original bands out there. I mean, there's one, Jeremiah Johnson's one of the hardest working original artists I know. He'll play any gig anywhere. He doesn't care if it's $1 or $200 or $300 or whatever. Of course, the high dollar gigs are better, but I mean, he's got a little bit of a following, and he plays. I mean, he's got some kind of channel on Sirius, if I'm not mistaken. But it's taken him a long, long time, and he may not even get anywhere past where he's at now. But he's good.
Well, the name like
Jeremiah. But I don't know if he's that good. Huh?
With a name like Jeremiah Johnson. Yeah, he ought to be famous. He ought to be famous for sure.
I know.
Sure. I had the chance.
If that was my name, I'd change it to Jeremiah Bullfrog Johnson. I would just have to do that.
Jeremiah was a bullfrog.
If that was my name.
Yeah.
Just to be funny.
If that classic, right? so it's the bands that the venues in St. Louis, like the venues like in Buffalo, even in like New York City or Los Angeles and places like that, they're dying. You look at South County. There's nothing in South County. There are no venues in South County other than to go see a cover band. And it's the same way in Buffalo. You would think with the venues shrinking, the pay would be a little bit better for some of these upfront and upcoming bands, other than the cover band. I mean, you'd think that there'd be some kind of a, and that's why I think. Go ahead.
The youth of today gets their new music from YouTube. They don't go out of their house. So there's no need to have a venue to play new music because I can get it right here in my bedroom or my living room or wherever.
Or why they're doing jam sessions.
Right.
I mean, because they can go play with like Charlotte Pub, voted best dive bar, and I'm going to tell you, all the best musicians play there if you've never been there, but they do. Richard Fortas being one of them. Great musicians. You can go to a jam session any night of the week there, and you're going to play with somebody really good. You know, so if you're sitting at home learning to play guitar and you want to play with some killer musicians, drive up to Charlotte, buy a beer, don't buy a beer, doesn't matter, just go in and play. You know, so that's unfortunately there's a lot of that too. People just want to sit around and jam. You know,
Don't be an asshole. Buy a beer.
Yeah,
Exactly.
buy a beer, damn it.
Exactly.
Buy a beer. Yeah. And tip your waitress.
Exactly.
Make sure you tip your waitress. Well, hey, you
It's
still
not
got
over the counter.
Cat, you got a little more time?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Hey, listen, we're going to play a tune and take a short break here.
Okay.
And then we'll be back with Kat and some more interesting stuff about today's music scene and what's going on out there and what it takes to be a rock star here on KGFRocks.com. We're going to play some Boomstick by Maximus right here on Conjugal
I love
Visits.
this song.
This
Awesome.
song kicks ass. This song kicks ass.
Killer. I showcased that song. It's killer.
It is a good song, and we're going to play it right now. And we'll be right back. This is Conjugal Visits. Yeah. Boomstick and Maximus.
What a great song. Oh, what a great band, too. You know Blackie, don't you?
Yeah, I know Blackie. Yeah. We
Oh,
talked
my
to Katie.
God.
We had him on the show.
Yeah, we had him
he's
on the
awesome.
show. Yeah, he is
Oh, yeah.
awesome.
And his
Yeah,
dad,
he is.
you know his dad, too, right?
Yeah, knows Dad. He's
I don't know
kind
his
of Blackie is a very private person, man. He's almost shy
yeah.
off stage.
Yeah, he can be. I had him on my radio show, too, and then I couldn't get him shut up.
Yeah, exactly. We had him on here, and he just kept going on and on. And he was a great guest. He was an awesome guest, and he really kept things moving for us. That was a lot of fun when we interviewed him, and they're playing all around now, man.
I know.
And I got to see them play at the Black Carpet Affair for VQ and Voodoo Queen magazine. If you don't get it,
Oh, yeah.
I don't understand why you don't get it, folks. And if you don't watch Cat Mues' On St. Louis video, you got to see it every friggin' week, guys. Make it religious.
There's two of them.
Yeah, get out there every week. You know,
Get out there. Support
You know,
our local musicians.
And we do. I mean, we've got like Boomstick. I was listening to the station yesterday for a little while, and Boomstick came up. Hey, great song, man. I said, killer, turn it up. So enjoy local music, folks, while you can. You know, while you can.
What did you tell her to turn it up to?
Myself. I told myself, turn it up. Turn it up.
I was just wondering where you like. That's what I think. You talk to yourself a lot, don't you?
I do. I do talk to myself a lot. At least I'm not answering myself. If I ask
That
myself,
was my next question. Do you answer yourself?
no, I never answer myself. I say that was a stupid question.
Do you talk to your penis though? Do you ever do that?
Do I talk to my penis? No,
Yeah.
I
like,
don't.
come on there, partner.
I don't believe it. All boys do. Y'all talk to it. Y'all name
do.
it. Y'all just think y'all. Yeah, I already know. Don't lie.
Do you laugh when your husband touches his genitalia, Cat?
I don't have a husband,
Oh,
and
I name mine definitely.
Yeah, your boyfriend.
Ooh. What do you mean?
Well, I mean,
Doesn't do what?
we all have to adjust.
Dude, stop assuming.
No, I just ignore it because I know y'all gotta adjust. Well, whatever. You know, what you want to call it. I don't care. You know what? It's on you. Whatever you want to do with it, do with it. You know,
Right.
within reason.
My wife always
As long as you're
asks
not
me.
doing it to anybody else but
You get
me,
the
I'm
sweaty
fine.
one.
My wife Connie.
Sometimes you get the sweaty one ball to the leg thing.
Yeah. Well, no. See,
Oh, I
we did
hate
a
when
whole
that
show.
happens.
We did a whole show about that, where it's like Velcro to the side of the leg. I mean, it's terrible. It's terrible. You got to
Dang
remove it,
it.
man. There's no getting around it.
Oh,
Yeah, and the old lady always asks me. She'll say,
Yeah.
"Is it still there?" And I say, "Yeah, it's still there." I'm not sure.
okay. Okay, so my next question then, here we go. Boxers or briefs?
Boxers.
Or briefs?
Boxer
like-
briefs.
Boxers or briefs? I like
Same.
boxers.
I do too. I
Boxer
think they're
briefs.
sexy. Boxers are sexy. My guy has all different colors, and oh my God, he's so cute. He's gonna kill me when he hears this.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. And Guido is commando. I know he does. You walk
Nothing
around-
wrong with
Yes.
that.
He is commando. He wears nothing.
I let the flagpole fly.
There you
Let
go.
the flagpole
There you
fly. There you go. There's the answer. He is commando.
Is it the flagpole or the freak flag?
So let me.
Or
I
both?
gotta ask you. We ask all of our female guests this. Do you have any granny panties?
Hell no.
No
Oh my
granny
gosh,
panties.
this thing's
Oh,
hard.
here we go. I love that.
A ball.
Thank God.
Thank God.
G-string
No.
all the way. If you really want to know.
G-string all the way. See,
I like
there you
his
go, Guido.
and he likes Depends underwear.
Huh?
Oh, really?
Oh no, I don't like Depends. No, I'm not into that.
You like Depends.
No, I don't.
Are you
He
sure?
likes girls with her teeth.
What?
He likes granny panties. You like them, don't you?
I like granny panties. Yes, I
Who,
do.
me? Yeah.
Weirdo.
Yeah.
Those things are horrible. It's like, I don't, good Lord. Oh my God, it's too much clothes. That's too much.
Guido, your
I never
mic
even
is
understood
really
what
breaking
the, I don't
up.
even understood what the whole reason was behind those stupid things.
What, granny panties?
Yes.
Well, that's old hat. I mean,
I know.
It just works for me. The camel toe, the whole 9 yards. It just kind of works for me. I mean, it works for
When
me.
you wear them?
No, I don't wear them. No, I do not wear them. No,
I
no.
think you do. I think you do.
No, I do not.
You wear your high heels with them too, don't you?
Yeah, I wear, and the stockings.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And you put the lotion on your skin?
Ah, what do you got, a camera in here? What do you got, a camera going on in here? Yeah, I got now going over to the show on Friday night, man. That was quite a show. Conquest put on a great show, and as they always do, they fight through. And there was a lot of things go on at that show. That I don't know if I've wanted to be a shock talk radio, and I could really throw some shock out there tonight, but I'm not.
Oh,
gonna.
I'm sure.
I'm not gonna, because I want to be. I want you to understand. There's something called stage etiquette, fellas, and this goes out to all you band members out there. There's such a thing as stage etiquette, and stage etiquette is when you know there's a 3-band list on. You get on for your time, and you get the fuck off the stage on your time, and don't use up another artist's time. And do not. And the biggest sin that you commit is to break your time limit with the venue, because that's like the curse of death when it comes to playing a gig there again. So if you ever wanted to play a fucking gig at a venue and play it again, you better have stage etiquette, and you better know how to use it, because if you don't, you'll never play there again, and you'll have that one shot, and that's it. You're done. So that's just a clue out there for you guys.
Let's come to Buffalo.
Back in the day,
you could play to 4 a.m.
Oh, that's awesome. Wow, that's killer. Well, back in the day, Janis Joplin, I forgot, I don't know if you know this or not, but we, Ron, the guy from Montreal, put together, or we're doing a documentary for KC95 from the beginning up to now. Hold on a minute.
Animal break here.
Uncomfortable
silence.
Uncomfortable radio.
Oh, you're still here?
Hello. The dog just bit her. The dog just bit her.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
The dog just bit you.
Oh, dog. I gotta get out of here. So back in the day, there was I don't remember what venue it was at. Janis Joplin was supposed to be playing, and the venue was Union. And they said, your show has to be over with at whatever time it was, 11, 12 o'clock, I don't remember. Nobody plays at 12:05, no 12:01 or anything. So Janis Joplin got up on stage and said, we're going to be playing in Forest Park tomorrow. Come out and see us. She put a free concert on at Forest Park. We still have footage of that.
Sweet.
I know, it's going to be awesome. So I was the music director for this documentary, and I used all original artists from here in St. Louis. We used Gypsy. We used Jeremiah Johnson. We used Brad No. We used Melissa Niels. We got a whole list of original artists that we're using, and their music that they played, their original music, sounds like the music that would have been played back in the 60s and 70s. It's really cool. Wait till you see this thing. It's insane. It'll probably be released. I don't know. We're still in editing. Got 1 hour done. I think it's supposed to be released probably by October, November of this year. It's going to be awesome.
Oh, look forward to it.
That's cool.
Yeah. So we got a bunch of, got all kinds of memorabilia and just, it's going to be a different documentary than some of the other ones. But, it's really, really cool. But anyway, so yeah, Janis Joplin on a free show. But getting back to what you were saying about venues, the pageant is that way too. You have a cutoff time. You're not playing past that cutoff time. It ain't happening.
You only play a certain amount of songs, and you had a song list, and it was approved by that venue, and you stick to it. And an incident happened on Friday night, and I'm not going to mention any names because I'm not an asshole. But to those out there that are listening in,
since when?
I am not. I don't want to. Not to mention the fact that some of these guys, I've got somewhat of a friendship with, and I hate to see that happen. It was really tense, and when you do stuff like that, you bring it on yourself, and it got really ugly.
Oh my!
I told my wife, I said maybe we should go and get out of the way, so we did.
I hope it stayed. The whatever it was. I hope that disagreement stayed backstage and not in front of any of the reps from the Family Arena.
No, I don't think. No, it was the reps from the Family Arena up there doing a little bit of the language as well. The MC was pissed. So,
wow.
Yeah, it was not pretty. It really was not a pretty thing. And I'm bringing it up.
St. Louis.
Welcome to St. Louis. Welcome to any venue, though. That's the drama backstage any fucking way, isn't it, Kat?
Right.
I mean, you've seen that before.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it's horrible. I remember back in the day when what's his name? Country artist. I can't think of what his. Oh, Garth Brooks. I was living in Cape Girardeau. My daughter just turned 12, and she wanted to see him, and he was playing here in St. Louis. And since I'm from here, I'm like, sure, we'll run up and do it. It was on a Sunday, and he kept the whole place waiting for 2 hours. The show was 2 hours late, and we sat there. I don't remember where it was. I want to say the Old Keel. I think it was the Old Keel House.
Okay.
And 2 hours waiting on him to come out. And we had to leave halfway through the show because I had to get her back home because she had school the next morning. But, that's just rude. I mean, no apologies, no anything. He just came out and did his show. And they had the most elaborate, ridiculous setup. Now, he's the one I felt like sold out because he started out as a good old country boy singer and then turned into this big techno electric bull crap that he puts out on his stage, or he used to put out on his stage, and it was all smoke and mirrors. I thought it was just ridiculous, But
covering up
made him almost a billionaire.
Yeah.
Well, that's money. There
That
we go
means
again
he's
with the money.
Commercials.
You can still make.
I didn't say it means
money.
he's good.
Mm-hmm.
It's the music. Nobody gets in the music business. You might get into the music business because you love music or you're good or whatever. But once you get a taste of the money, it doesn't fucking matter, dude. It doesn't matter how good you are. You're gonna be a sellout. Everybody sells out. You can't name one band or artist that did it. Can't.
But but it's not really is it really a sellout, or is it more
It's a music business.
You've got you're in it to make the money. The fame is great, but you go for the money and you get the money. I mean, because what else are you going to do? Well, nowadays it's dog eat dog nowadays with money. Think about it,
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, but we're not talking about the money.
It's a business. If you're in the music business, why would you want a regular job if you didn't have to? If you can just play what everybody wants to hear, put the grand show on that everybody wants to see, and be subpar and make millions of dollars, what difference does it make?
That's true. That's true.
Right.
I agree with you, man. I mean, you're going to make the
See,
money.
I don't say the word sellout. People say like Green Day sold out. Green Day's Dookie and American Idiot sound the same. My thing is, just because it fucking sells doesn't mean I have to like it. And that's all
Exactly.
I say. I don't
I agree
care
with
that
that.
it sold 5 million copies. I don't have to like it, and that's all I
Exactly.
care. I don't
Right,
ever
but-
say Green Day sold out. Green Day did
No, you
not sell
don't.
out. Green Day's still a punk band. They're still making politically charged music, doing what they got to do. Some people call them sellouts. I don't use that word sellout. But just because, and I like Green Day, so it's an odd scenario, it's an odd comparison. But just because somebody sold 8 million copies of an album doesn't make it good.
No.
Right, exactly.
It doesn't. But
Case
but I
in
said
point,
it makes it
Kanye
a
West.
business.
Ooh.
Conway West.
But there's different things. There's
can't
different
stand
things
him.
that different people think are good. Because some people like you will think Eminem is good, but not everybody will. So there's different things that are good to different people.
Right. Yep. Exactly. That's what we're supposed
People
to
need
be.
to learn to respect that.
Yep.
Right.
And that's the problem. People don't
Yes, I
respect
agree.
that. People push their views on everybody else's, and it's like that's why there's so much fucking chaos and like the music scene's dying because then people will get offended. Well, you like them, so I'm not gonna like them just because you like them. Like it's stupid.
It is stupid. It is really ignorant. It's
And
just,
people are supposed to,
you know.
like accept music and like it. That's it. You like it or you don't. And there's no
Right.
middle line. You know what I mean? Like people got to learn to find what they like, and I think that's an issue. Find out what they like, not because somebody else likes it or because somebody else doesn't like it. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
yeah,
and
well,
that's
just because-
the culture anywhere.
Yeah, but if just because somebody likes it, like say a band like Pink Floyd, I know the masses like Pink Floyd, but I actually really like Pink Floyd, not because somebody told me I should, because I listened to them since I was 12 years old and really
Right.
liked them. You know,
Right.
so something that's that mass appealing may not be appealing to you, but to me it is. Where something you grew up with.
I'm not saying
is
that
obvious.
anything that sold is bad. All I'm saying is that just because it sold a lot doesn't mean I have to like it. Simple
Right.
as that. Like
No.
my
Case
favorite
in
band's
point,
Kiss.
the
They sold a
Boys
lot of
Like,
albums. I mean, what do you want me to?
That's like I'm not a huge Kiss fan. I don't like a lot of their music. I do like a few things that they did, but I don't like it all. And I think
Right.
that some of it was hype. Wow, what's going on?
What's wrong?
Everybody there?
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm here.
People are allowed to formulate their own opinion. That's all.
You know, that's all
Exactly.
there is to it. It's just like our station. Our station is the same way, in the way that it's not all about us. It's about our listeners, and some people like different stuff, and
Right.
and if the music sells, then that's one thing, okay. And you can sell all you want, but that doesn't mean I have to like it. I wouldn't go pay for the concert if I don't like the band and if I don't like their music. And there's a few out there, but there's not a lot of bands that, hey, I just don't like your music. And in general, I like some Guns N' Roses stuff. I like some Kiss
What about
stuff.
ABBA?
I don't like ABBA. I don't like Captain and Tennille. I don't like any of that other stuff. I like my rock music and I like my classic rock. But that's the genre that I grew up in. And it's all
Right.
about where we grew up. I mean, your dad was a fucking DJ for a rock station, Guido. There's no getting around that. That's how you were raised. It's in your blood, man. And I think music goes in generations.
Yeah.
I think it does.
And also,
music, it is, and the music is what you, because like Chaz, is being my music was from my father, obviously, and growing
Right.
up with Chaz, I was listening to like Kiss and whatever, so that influenced him a little bit. But he still made his. This is where it has to change. You can listen to your father's music, but then you have to get your own style too. Where Chaz listened to what I did, and then he totally went his own way and listened to music maybe now that I don't like. So you have to find your own musical identity. You don't have to like everything, but you don't have to like or hate it because it's popular.
Well, we skipped a
Right.
generation. We skipped a generation because my dad was like into Frank Sinatra and
Right.
Dean Martin and all of that fun stuff there. And he was a hell of a dancer.
That's
my
cool
dad
shit.
was. That was some good stuff. That was some
That's
good
good
stuff.
shit, man.
But that's not what I was raised into. What I was raised into was rock. and it was classic rock. And from 12 on, it was a station in Virginia, just like KSHE, and then KSHE here in St. Louis after I moved here. And that's all it was rock music. So, and that's the way I was raised. And of course, I grew up with all the stoners and all that fun stuff. And that's where it lies. It's a generational thing. My kids
Right.
are into heavy metal. My kids are not into the classic rock like I am.
Well, it is a generational thing, and it's a big generational thing, and and me and Chaz is a big showing of that, because I'm like almost 13 years older than him. So where my dad was playing the Beatles for me and Elvis and the Rolling Stones and all this, and I really got into it. By his time, he didn't like that. That generation didn't like that.
Right.
So that 13 years made a big difference.
Right. Well, my dad was a musician. He was a luthier, and he would listen to all genres of music, and he would tell me, listen to this. I mean, I listened to Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass. I listened to Frank Sinatra, and I listened to country, and then he loved Steppenwolf, and he loved CCR. And he would always say, listen to this. And it was the music. It was how good it was. It wasn't exactly the genre. It was how good it was. Right. Like the beats, or listen to that bass, or listen to that drum, listen to that guitar. My dad was a guitar player. Now, what's really weird is that me growing up with all these different genres, I learned to appreciate the good sounding music. But, I like classic rock. Not a big fan of some of the other stuff, but I don't hate it. I just don't prefer it, And then my 3 kids are all different. My daughter likes pop. My oldest son, is a musician. He plays by ear. He likes the self-expression rock, but he likes the classics. And my younger son, he likes the heavy metal. All 3 of them are different, and I did the same thing to them. I said, listen to the good stuff and what sounds good. But then they all just pick their own music, But my oldest son, who's 30, I remember him coming home from school in the 5th grade. Mom, I'm the only one who knows who Ted Nugent is. Nobody knows who that guy is. But I've been listening to it since I was born, because his dad and I are hippies.
Right.
Well,
so
I
we
only
listen to all
have.
the good classic rock. That's what we weaned our kids on, So it's But yeah, you're right. It's what you grow up with, and then you just kind of find your own way and what you want to hear, what you want to listen to.
I unfortunately only have 1 out of 4 children that have good musical taste.
Oh no. Now you can't say that. You mean the only one you could tolerate listening to, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And it's not even like heavy metal. My one daughter listens to country. Oh. And the other one listens to like hip hop. And then my 10-year-old daughter's favorite bands are Toto and Twisted Sister and Billy Joel.
Awesome. Very cool.
So you never know what age they're going to be and what they like. She's 10 years old and listening to bands that are older than me.
That's right.
It's kind of cool.
That is cool.
Yeah,
very cool.
My daughter, my middle daughter, she likes the Beatles and stuff like that, because that's there was a Beatles song that was one of her lullabies, and that helped her sleep. And then you had the other stuff, you had the Kenny Loggins, and you had the Cat Stevens and all that stuff.
Right.
And that was a part of a different part of the music industry back then, and they called it soft rock. You know what I'm saying? And America, and they did all that. But then there were bands that crossed over to that. That was crossed over from that to that, like BTO and stuff like that. Does changing your attitude in your music, is it because you see an avenue to make more money, or do you think it's more or less that's where the artistry takes the artist?
I think it evolves. At least for me, it evolves with my taste. My first, original bands growing up were real hard, screamy, hardcore bands, because that's what I liked. But then, like 4 years down the line, I was more in like an emo band because that's what I liked. And the last band I was in was more on the punk side because that's what I was into at the time. But it always kind of just like follows where I go. I mean, I always have my love for like Kiss, Poison, Motley Crue, and stuff like that. But I'm always seeking out new music and new things to get inspired by and new reasons to like. I want to like a band. Usually, there's a new band. I want to like this band, and give me something to like. But I know how to play guitar, bass, drums, singing. I know all about it, and it's like it's. I'm very picky at the same time. But there could just be like one bass line and one song where I'm like, I love it. I love this song, and then I'm down. So I mean, it's just, and I think it evolves with you as a person. And the people that don't evolve musically as people are the ones that get stuck and never like anything but the first, 5 years of their life music, and that's it.
Right. Yep.
Expanding your
horizons. It's like listening and knowing all the songs on the album or the CD or the 8-track or whatever you buy. You know all the songs, not just the ones that made them a star or made it or were hits. I mean, all the music is what matters. Then you know what kind of band they are. That's the way I learned anyway.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but I listen to my 8-tracks every night.
There you go. I still have one or two. There's nothing wrong with those things. They're going to come back.
I got a whole suitcase full of Kiss 8-tracks in the basement. And I was born in '8.
That's so funny.
It's a baby.
I know.
You got 8 tracks, huh?
There you go.
I used to say I had the Led Zeppelin 4 on 8-track, and it would cut out in the middle of Stairway to Heaven. Why would you fucking do that? I mean, why would you? The first Leonard Skinner when they did Freebird, they did the same thing on an 8-track. I think that was the demise of 8-track tapes. I think that was
it was pretty bad.
See, literally for me, the time I grew up, so like 94, 95, there wasn't computers, really. There was, but there wasn't. Not everything was like, mobile or easy accessible. So in my basement, I had this little handheld like 8-track player and a bunch of Kiss 8-tracks above the washing machine. And that's what I would listen to when I was like in the basement doing whatever. In 96.
That's great. That is awesome. Good for you.
That is awesome. You had an 8-track.
He was in his own little time machine. Didn't even know it.
Back to the Future and shit. Back to the Future. Yeah. Listen to the 8-track tape.
Exactly.
He's more like Biff, not Marty.
Yeah. McFly.
Yeah, I'll be the douchebag millionaire. I don't care.
Yeah.
He was totally a millionaire in one of the movies.
Funny. That's great. That's awesome.
And what he did to get that money was a pretty rotten thing to do, man. Are you up for that, dude?
No,
are you up for that?
Hey, you got a fucking time machine. Just change it.
Just change it, yeah?
That's right.
Yeah. Make sure he doesn't
You have the ability to do that.
Make sure he doesn't get the almanac.
I go back and make sure that John Lennon never met Yoko.
Oh, I know. I know. Ugh.
Yeah, okay, there's a great question. If you could go back
I can't stand that woman.
If you could go back in time and change an event for a band that you really liked,
that would be it.
That would be it?
That would be it. Yes.
That's a hard one to say for that, because there's nothing more empowering as a muse for a male musician than a woman. So do you know how many songs that woman probably inspired for him?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
probably.
it was I understand the creativity and that, she expanded his mind, blah blah blah. But the effect, the long-term effect, I don't know if he would have been killed. That's what I don't. Because
there's no time that I write better than when I'm like, happy about somebody or heartbroken, right. And like that's what inspired him too, for sure.
Actually, I would stop Buddy Holly from getting on the plane.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good one.
And Richie Valens.
And Richie Valens. Yeah. The guys don't take the plane.
Maybe let the Big Bopper go, but
No. Yeah. Patsy Cline, I wouldn't let her get on a plane.
Sabotage the plane. But there's you can even say, or how about the plane for Leonard Skinner? How about
Leonard Skinner
in that plane?
Oh.
How about being the mechanic and fixing the problem that was wrong with that plane? They never
Right.
did figure out what
Exactly.
caused that crash.
And you know that you're familiar with Mama's Pride, right?
Yeah.
You know that one of the few bands that still around, still has all the original members. They've been together for 42 years.
Something
They haven't
like
played
that,
together
yeah.
in probably a couple, but that's another story. But they purposely did not fly together because of that.
Right.
Whenever they had gigs, just because of that, they refused to. Thank goodness they didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, they're
But
still.
now these bands got their own friggin' luxury jets, like Guns N' Roses and Kiss and Metallica
Right.
and Iron Maiden. They all have these huge jets that they're like luxury jets for them, and they own them.
Yeah,
Right.
or they rent them. They rent
Or
them.
rent them, right?
Yeah.
Right.
No. Those guys all own theirs. I mean,
Well,
Bruce
I don't know if
Dickinson
it's-
flies his.
Well, I'm
Bruce
sure.
Dickinson's
Yeah, I'm
the
sure
pilot.
quite a few of them do, but there's a few that rent them out there. They rent their
Actually, some of
pilot.
them rent each other's. Like
Yeah.
they'll rent,
Guns N'
Pink
Roses will
Floyd's
rent
plane.
Pink Floyd plane or something.
No, Guns N' Roses owns their own.
Yeah.
they own.
Oh,
they
yeah.
own a Boeing
I know.
777.
Yeah, call somebody up. Hey, can I borrow your plane? Like
Yeah.
like you're gonna borrow somebody's lawnmower. Really?
Right?
Oh, they lease it.
Gee,
to
I want
Arctic.
that neighbor.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bruce Dickinson's the pilot.
Yeah, he flies their world tours.
Does he?
Yeah, sings all night. They get on the plane, then he flies them to the next town.
Wow.
Oh.
That's how safe that is.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
He's been
Do
doing it
you
since
think
like
Pilot.
you think they smoke pot while they're on the
No.
airplane?
They're a straight band.
No way.
You think?
they-
It takes me back to that movie. What was that movie? Oh gosh, about the Stillwater
What?
Man. What was the name
Yeah.
of it?
That was Almost Famous.
Almost Famous.
Almost Famous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Almost Famous, and the plane was going to crash, and hey, I'm a homosexual.
Oh, I
It's
talked with your
the-
wife.
Yeah, I fucked with your wife. Yeah, I slept with your
Well,
wife.
the first,
Oh my
the first
God,
two
that was a
bands,
great movie. That was
the
a great,
first
that
two
was, that
bands
was
to
based
have
on
their
a
own
true
plane.
story.
Yeah,
That was
The
awesome.
first two bands to have their own plane were the Stones and Zeppelin. So back in the 70s, their planes were definitely party planes, without a doubt. I mean, can you imagine being on the Rolling Stones jet in 75?
Oh,
Right.
wow.
yeah. Oh
There's
yeah.
probably
They're so well preserved.
there's probably some drug is going on in that plane.
Oh yeah. There was drugging going
There
on.
always
and
will
all.
be.
Back in the day, it was more prevalent, I think, and even on Paul McCartney's plane, he would have marijuana on the plane because he's been an advocate for marijuana since the beginning. So he has,
Coba.
he still smokes. I'm sure of it. And if, Paul, if you don't, if you say you don't, I know you're fibbing to me because I know you're still getting high. And more power to you, brother. Speaking of still getting high, I just wanted to send out a rest in peace to our good friend Chief Wannadoobie. He was a chief advocate for the legalization and prohibition of all drugs and ran for senator, and really a great guy, and we had him on our show, and Chief Wannadoobie passed away last Thursday. And we want to send our condolences out to his family and all of his fans out there and the people who enjoyed his type of person. Okay, I'll put it that way. He was a great guy, and he will be missed. So I just wanted to send that out there. It's been a rough couple of months as far as artists going away.
I know. Horrible.
It's been a bad year, man, for a lot of artists.
Jerry Lewis.
Jerry
Jerry
Lewis
Lewis
passed
died
away.
yesterday.
Yeah.
Or
Jerry
no, this morning. My bad. It was this morning.
this morning. Jerry Lewis is gone now, and so it's one of those things, man. I keep telling my wife, I'm not going to have anybody left to come to my funeral. Everybody's kicking the bucket.
No, we're gonna have a big party. We're gonna have a big party just for you because that's
Just
the way
for
you
me.
are.
That's what I wanted too, man. I don't want any of this
Yeah.
other bullshit. No, don't
The
cry
last
for me,
free
man.
ride.
The last free ride. That's right.
The last free ride on free ride.
Yeah, I will be buried at sea, so there won't be any gray area there. You can come find me anytime you want to.
Whose
hopefully-
toilet are we flushing you in?
they're going to be flushing me. Probably there'll be they're going to be one of the public
KGF
outhouses.
Studios.
KGF's one of the public outhouses on the beach there, and they're going to flush me down the toilet and right out to the ocean.
Hopefully not the same one George Michael used.
No, probably not. probably not.
Oh.
There's another one I didn't expect to do himself in. Yeah, that was kind of strange. I thought he was a happy motherfucker.
It's the Illuminati.
It's the Illuminati. Oh, don't go there, man. Don't go there. It's not the Illuminati. Trust me. It's the fucking eclipse. Everybody's blaming all this crap on the eclipse. And
so what are you gonna do tomorrow night? Or tomorrow? Are you gonna go see it? What are you gonna do? Go to sleep? What are you gonna do?
I have to work my regular job tomorrow. So
right.
I will be at work when it happens, and that's a good place for me to be because I don't want to have to deal with the traffic and all the crap that goes along with it. And tonight is the partial lunar eclipse. You get to see that. So things are kind of nuts out there. Police officers being shot, terrorist attacks, and things like that. Wait till tomorrow. Things are going to be really stupid tomorrow.
It's going to be stupid.
It is. It's going to be crazy. So a lot of people are going to, think we're going to die and shit. And, back 200 years ago, people used to think it was a sign from the gods.
Right.
You go back a couple thousand years or whatever, and they used to think, oh my God, the world is coming to an end. Now today, it's like a phenomenon. People pay billions of dollars to go see a full eclipse of the sun.
Right.
It's kind of rare, man. We've only had this is the only one we've had. It's been 100 years since we had the last one.
Do you know what I'm gonna say? Do you know what I say though?
What did you do for that one, Free Ride?
Actually, I think the last one was 79, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right?
Yeah, it was a that was a 75%. It covered 70. Yeah.
When I seen it, I said, "Turn around."
No, cut it out.
Don't look up. Just don't look at the sun.
What time is this happening?
Between noon and 2:00, I think. And the total eclipse lasts about 2.5 minutes. So you'll have 2.5 minutes.
So will they play Total Eclipse of the Sun or Black Hole Sun?
Somebody's singing that. There's a bunch of people singing that silly song.
Black
or are they
Hole Sun.
Black Hole Sun.
They should be singing Black Hole Sun, but they're going to play
Black Hole Sun.
Yeah, that's a great song.
I think Ozzy's doing something down near Carbondale, isn't he?
You can't literally stare at it, so what are people getting excited about?
Well, you got glasses, man. There's a big market for glasses. They're going for like $10 a pop nowadays, man. The glasses.
They were $1.
Yeah, they were $1. Now you're getting them for $10 because people are. Can you believe that, Cat? That people are on Facebook asking, "Can anybody get me some glasses?" You mean to tell me where you been under a fucking rock? You didn't know this was happening.
It's no different than a ticket for a concert. Oh God, I gotta have one or I'm gonna die.
Yeah, or I'm gonna die. Right? I can't miss this.
Oh my goodness!
I'm telling you,
wouldn't believe. I mean, it's. Once my friends found out I was, I've got quite a few friends that want to hit me up. Take me backstage at the amphitheater. No. Why not? No. Because you know what? I'm working.
Yeah.
No, that's a big no-no.
I'm not
Don't just brag. Well, I want to meet somebody. No.
No, sorry. Now, if somebody hands me a backstage pass like I got Friday night, which I want to send out my deepest thanks and to Rob and to all the guys in Conquest Metal for hosting me and Connie backstage. It was neat.
Aww.
It was really cool, and they treated us like family, and they had smiles on their face. Even they got that. Did you know that Conquest Metal has been doing this now for 40 years?
Yeah. Killer,
40
isn't it?
fucking years, man.
I know.
That's a long time. That is a long time.
Yes, it is.
And it hasn't been the same band, of course, but the same guys. But for the most part, the core is still there, and they're just awesome, man. They're very nice, and they love KGFRocks.com, and great group of guys, and we had a really good time. So I wanted to thank them very much for the good time. It's really neat.
Wow,
to see
I was 3 when they started.
Yeah. Been doing this long. Yeah, no, I swear. Well, I mean, Derek is what he's in his mid-50s, isn't he?
Yeah, Derek's in his 50s. I think are we the same age? He might be a year younger or something. I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah.
Well,
Rob the youngest or is Mike the youngest?
Mike is the youngest, I think.
Mike is the youngest. Oh.
Yeah.
They just all act young.
Yeah, they
good.
do. Which is good. They got lots of energy on stage. They really put on a good show.
Yeah.
So I want to congratulate them on another great show. They always put on a good show. No question about it. But What else is going on in St. Louis coming up? Any big shows coming up in St. Louis that you know about?
Any big ones? No, not really. Just just the regular stuff. The amphitheater's winding down its season. The last show will be September or something. The end of September, it'll be the Big KG Rocks with a 50-year show with Sammy, and I think Ario's going to be there. I can't remember who all.
No, Sammy
But,
Hagar and oh gosh, they're going to be ZZ Top. And
ZZ Top will be there. Super cool guys. Those guys are.
Yeah.
Billy Gibbons is a real sweetheart. I mean, he's one of the nice guys. Oh wow.
Collective Soul.
Super cool.
Collective Soul, ZZ
Collective
Top,
Soul.
and Sammy.
Right.
That'll
And
be
the
a
Circle.
good show.
Sammy's
And-
Punk Band, the Circle.
Yeah, that's going to be a good show.
Oh, it'll be a blast.
I'm
It'll be
not
so much
going.
fun.
Because, I'm not going because I hate the venue. I do hate the
I
venue.
too. I work.
You got to work it.
Oh yeah. It's a lot of work. People don't realize,
Can you get me backstage passes?
No. Ask me again. No. Ask me one more time. No. Get your job if you want to work back there with us.
Yeah, get me a job. I wish I could get it.
And that's about it.
I really want to
my
get a
God,
press
it is-
pass. I want to get us a press pass so we can go backstage on some of these. So.
Oh yeah, good. You want me to get it? You want me to get them? I can get them.
You can get them. That'd be nice, man.
Yeah.
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 Well,
It's
listen
an
to this.
accredited station, so I can get them. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I usually end up working the show, so I've got a few press passes to some events when I wasn't working, but working them is it's all about the money. So
I'll tell you what.
and it's not everybody thinks it's all glim and glamour back there, and it's not. We are
It's
working
not.
our butts off because there are trailers that have to be filled with equipment, it has to be loaded just right, and you've got 100 some odd people back there running around, and you've got crews that are taking down lights and taking down backline, and and it all has to be loaded into the truck the same way it came out, and it has to be just right because that shit is expensive.
Yeah, it
Wow,
is.
you wouldn't believe the boards and the. I mean, I've done local sound here on a very small scale compared to that stuff. I mean, and the amps and the
Right.
speakers, everything. It's just crazy. I mean, it is phenomenal. Some of these boards, I can't even tell you how many channels they have. They're just humongous. But the biggest thing are the lights. Those are the biggest pain in the ass because there's one show, 4 trailers, 4 53-foot trailers just for lights alone. That was crazy. I had a huge light show. But the biggest show I ever did was probably Metallica. We laid the
Metallica.
floor. Had to lay the floor at Busch Stadium on top of all that nice, pretty green.
Wow. Heavy.
Yeah, 2-day job. Oh my God! And then we pulled all that tile back up, and it stunk. It was so disgusting. We got done at 3:00 in the morning. There were 2 flatbeds out, 2 flatbed trucks full of new sod to be put down at 3:30 that morning after we got done lifting, pulling that floor up because it's Busch Stadium. That's
Right.
a lot of money.
That is a lot
That
of
show
money.
that is a lot of money. But
Those stadium shows cost a lot of money.
oh my God, Metallica was a huge production. But the scuttlebutt from them is that they're done too. This is going to be their last tour. They're just not saying it's their last tour. Because that's why they're going out such big shows and a big bang this year is because they're pretty much so done too. I don't know if they'll come back, but
Hey, you never know.
it is what it is.
Maybe
Every time they say it's a farewell show, they come back.
Yeah.
Never fail.
The band-
Ozzy retired 37 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they retired quite a few times. But hey, listen, we've beaten this one to death. We're about done. And
Well,
I want to thank you, Kat, for coming on the show tonight. It's been a whole lot of
thank
fun.
you.
Time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it? Wow, we went
Yep.
through the whole show, and you gave us some insight about what goes on backstage, and we talked about winners and losers, and we talked about local music in St. Louis, just like we promised, just like we advertised. And we even got off the beaten path a little bit, so that was all
just a
good.
tad.
Yeah, just
Yep.
a tad. Yeah, had a lot of fun. Thanks for being a guest on our show tonight. And
Thank you.
we appreciate it. We appreciate it. Guido, you got anything else for us?
I'm good, man.
You're good. Good. Yeah. Okay. Well, Kat, stick around for a minute. We're going to talk after the
Okay.
show.
right.
And Chaz, anything else for you, buddy?
No, rock and roll. Good to be back.
No, thanks for coming back, man. We appreciate you coming on the show, man. You added a lot of insight to the show. Thank you so much for coming in and joining us tonight, Chaz. Well, that's it. We've beaten this one to death. I'm going to get out of here. Thanks for tuning in tonight, and we'll see you next time, okay? This was the Conjugal Visit Show. See ya.
It's Sunday night, and this is the Conjugal Visit on KGFRocks.com.